Guys, here's Carl again. We're at the back end of the car. We're just going to briefly go through what's been done back here, and then we are going to put up the video machine and get to work on the car. So Carl, what was done back here?
Okay, well Bart, essentially we redid the complete suspension, everything in the back here, besides the actual differential itself.
And the spring, right?
Yes, and besides the spring. The half shafts were rebuilt with new U-joints. This one is an original one, but on the far side it's a replacement one because it had been damaged when the U-joint had exploded previously on the driver's side. This one's an original one. So we have not just new U-joints, but also new hardware installed.
Okay.
On the trailing arms, these are actually, the sway bar. So the sway bar has brand new bushings and everything that it would have been left bare metal from the factory. From the Corvette restoration book that you had purchased, it tells you every finish, what everything should be. So we knew that this would be cast iron, the bar as well as the mount here. And we used polyurethane, just a little bit better than factory. On our trailing arms, these are brand new. Actually, these aren't even the original ones, right?
We sent our trailing arms into a company called VTech to have them rebuilt because these are very particular requirements to rebuild these. I mean, you have to do it right or it will cause all kind of problems. The one on this side, I think we reused the trailing arm, and we did go back with drilled and slotted rotors for better braking, as long as we were going to do these brakes anyway. So on the other side, that trailing arm was damaged by the half shaft that came loose. U-joint broke over there, and that half shaft just banged around over there and just tore up a bunch of stuff. Some of the one of those stabilizer bars or whatever that, I can't remember what it's called right now.
Strut rods.
Strut rod, and then also it actually bent the trailing arm, which you can see right there, that black arm that goes up into the body of the car. So that got broken on the other side. So anyway, VTech, I got a new trailing arm for the other side. They rebuilt this and they put everything together with the bearings and all just basically came back as a package. And that includes inside here are little brake shoes for the emergency brake. So that's on the back side. So there's like a little drum brake kind of setup on the inside of the, there we go. You can see them right there. That's one of the brake shoes, and it pushes out against the inside of this, and this acts like a drum, although the actual rear brakes for the car are those rotors. So that was done as part of the VTech trailing arm service. But anyway, beyond that, I think we got new shocks.
Yes, the shocks these are actually KYB shocks, so they're upgraded shocks, but we painted them the original navy gray that they would have came from the factory. This top mount here we had to reconstruct. It was missing actually part of the lower part, so we had to use the MIG welder to reconstruct that and grind the hole.
That would be right here.
Yes.
This was broken out, and it was a gap there. I mean, it wasn't a hole. It was a split. Carl re-welded that and kind of refinished it and got that back into a proper state to be a proper mount for this shock absorber.
The strut rods that you replace, Bart, it's going to help the car a lot. It's going to really make it easy for the alignment guy.
That is this rod right down here. It's hard to see, but with my hand here, let me do it, go underneath. This rod right here, strut rods, we replaced them on both sides, and this is a new style where you kind of adjust them like you would a
tie rod sleeve.
A tie rod, exactly. Previously, they were constructed differently, and they had to use kind of a cam piece to be adjusted, and these now adjust like screw in and screw out like a tie rod would. So that was an upgrade we did back here.
One other upgrade we did was with the shims here. So if you'll take a look here, the factory shims from 1969 had 2 holes, and what makes these a nightmare is you have to align them perfectly on both sides and get this pivot bolt through, which is just a nightmare job. At the factory, they had machines doing it, lining everything up, so it was easy for them. But for us now, today, it's very difficult to do. But in '72, they came up with a new style where they have the slotted shims, and with it open here, all you have to do is slide it into the bolt and then tighten the bolt. But of course, being slotted, it makes it nice for adding and removing shims. The problem is you don't have that hole like on the original style to keep it from coming out if the bolt loosens up.
So basically, you don't have to remove that bolt that holds the trailing arm in place.
Exactly. All the alignment guy has to do is loosen it up and then pull the shims out.
And the shims are up in this gap in here. They're inside here. So
that's right.
It's hard to see them.
You can actually see them right here.
There you go.
Also in '72, just to keep these from flying out, if the trailing arm did loosen up, they added a bolt through here, and we did the same thing. So we drilled a hole through after we located it, and and so now the bolt goes through these holes, and if by any chance it does loosen up at some point, the shims aren't going to go flying out because we have a safety bolt holding them in.
Right, and Carl told me earlier that the standard shims on this side and the other side of the trailing arm are 0.37 inches.
0.37 on each side, left and right.
And so that's what we've gone back with to start with, but once this car is done, we're in Rio Rico right now. I live in Green Valley. It's about 30 miles. Mm-hmm. We will put the car on a tilt bed tow truck and take it back up to my area. I don't want to really drive the car very far until this is professionally aligned. And on Corvettes, especially this year and earlier, they're 4-wheel alignment. It's not just the front. These have to be aligned as well. So, Carl, I think we've covered most of it. Anything else that you wanted to mention about the back?
Well, no, just that it was a cataclysmic failure with that U-joint on the driver's side. Not only did it destroy the trailing arm, bend the shock,
and the strut rod,
and damage the half shaft. It also, the U-joint exploded and went into the battery box and destroyed the battery box to a large extent that we had to rebuild. So one U-joint can wreak a lot of havoc if it explodes on these things.
And if you see what's coming up into the picture here, those are painted and ready to go caliper bolts. So shortly we're going to put this rotor back on here and we're going to be bolting on the calipers.
Yes.
And get the brakes done, and then we're going to proceed to, Carl's going to be dressing out the engine compartment, and we're going to make another quick video of the engine, and then we're going to get to work. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.